Spring is here in Colorado, and that means it's time for you to get outside and enjoy exactly what Boulder has to offer. But what exactly can you do here when the sun is shining and the temperature is perfect? Well, let's get into it. So the first thing you must do in Boulder during the spring is, you guessed it, hike. There are dozens of trails and a few mountain peaks, quite literally right next to the city. The Flatirons tower over Boulder and offer a complex set of intermediate and even advanced trails, although that's probably subjective, that can take you up to wonderful heights that offer you unbelievable views of the city below, as well as the surrounding areas. But there's also trails that'll take you to interesting rock formations, like the Royal Arch Trail, which is a personal favorite of mine, although it kicks my butt every time. Most of these trails start in Chautauqua Park, which is just southwest of the University of Colorado Boulder. Now, a lot of these trails might be difficult, especially if you're out of state. Perhaps not because of the elevation gain, but also because you're starting at over 5,000 feet. The altitude of Boulder alone will get you, especially if you're not used to it. So I'd recommend planning accordingly. But if you're looking for a challenge, try Green Mountain or even Bear Peak, just to the south. The latter is a terrific hike with several starting points and offers unbelievable views of Boulder as well as terrific views of the mountains to the west. But if that seems like too much of a challenge right now, I'd recommend another mountain that's a little easier, and that's Mount Sanitas. This mountain sits just north of the Flatirons on the western side of Boulder. Although one of the trails up is relatively steep, the overall hike is just about 3 miles and provides some beautiful sights of the city, and it's a great place to take your dog for a morning hike too. Now, worth mentioning on any spot you go to hike is parking. Parking, as you may know, in Boulder is horrendous. So if you're planning on visiting any of these locations, I recommend that you get there early. Not just because as we get closer to the summer, midday hikes are gonna be a lot tougher on you, but you're also gonna be walking quite a bit of distance to the trailhead because the only available spot was half a mile away. Something to keep in mind. Okay, so after you've completed that grueling morning hike, I think it's time to kick back and relax with a beer. So let's go brewery hopping. There are a ton of breweries to visit just in Boulder alone. Let's ignore for right now just how many are down in Denver. And each one offers a unique array of beer. I'll throw a link below to a few sites to check out that talk a bit more of the different breweries in the city. But some I'd recommend right now are Avery Brewery, which is located in Gun Barrel, just a bit north from the literal city of Boulder, but still in Boulder County. And they do have several award-winning beers present. Another is Mountain Sun Pub and Brewery, down in Boulder, right along Pearl Street. This one is actually one of my favorites because they also have a fantastic menu and a really good burger. Yes, I have a bias, but since they're right along Pearl Street, it's a fantastic spot to grab a bite to eat and then go wander the pedestrian section of Pearl Street and take a look at all the shops, especially out on a sunny Saturday. And the third to mention would be the Sanitas Brewing Company, which is on the eastern side of Boulder, but has a gorgeous patio you can enjoy, especially when it's a sunny day. They also have a lot of live events, so I'll include their website below. You can check them out. But if you want a bit more structure and are looking for an organized tour of the Boulder breweries, might I recommend the Boulder Brew Tour? Whether you want the full-on bus tour or just a walking tour, you have the option to customize the specific breweries you want to visit. But again, if you're overwhelmed by the number of options, they can make some recommendations. Just make sure you eat something before because you're going to be trying a lot of beers. Now, after kicking back with a nice beer, what I'd recommend exploring next is the practically endless amount of outdoor and indoor events that you can attend in Boulder. It's honestly amazing just how much there is to do. If you're a fan of farmers markets, the Boulder Farmers Market starts in April, which has specific hours on Saturdays and Wednesdays. I'll throw a link below. But maybe you're an arts fan and you'd love to check out the Boulder Arts Week. That happens early April as well. But maybe you love live music outside and should check out the Boulder Creek Festival in May. This one I'd recommend, especially because it's along the Boulder Creek, which is a beautiful creek that runs through the center of the city, coming down from the mountains. But for something really fun, I recommend participating in the Boulder Boulder on Memorial Day. It's a world famous 10K run where tens of thousands of people come together and is one of the largest Memorial Day tributes in the country. You can walk the 10K, you don't have to only run. However, the race finishes at CU Boulder's Folsom Field, which is a wonderful spot where everyone comes together and cheers you on as you finish. Quite literally, you enter the field to a roaring applause. It's honestly quite fun, and it's something I recommend doing. But if running's not quite your thing, and you'd want to kick back and relax a bit more, then I'd recommend checking out the Boulder Reservoir, located just north of the city. It's a 700-acre reservoir that offers multiple opportunities to enjoy the spring and summer days of Colorado. Now, the typical beach and boat days start in May and go until around late September, but I will mention boat permits and fees apply when you visit here. So check out their website below to get a bit more information. But the reservoir is an unbelievable spot for a spring and summer day. They have wonderful spots to picnic, grill, and enjoy the outdoors, and they also feature summer camps, just in case you were curious. But if you're a lover of tubing, paddleboarding, wakeboarding, or even just relaxing on the beach, the Boulder Reservoir has got you covered. But maybe you're not quite a lover of the water, and that's okay. There are wonderful hiking and gravel/mountain biking trails all around and nearby the reservoir. I love them. I recommend going on them because they offer unbelievable views of the Front Range. That's something you can't beat. I couldn't recommend this enough. And now to wrap up, the last one on our list is simple: wander around Boulder. I mentioned this earlier, but during the spring months, as everything starts to get warmer, you have to explore downtown Boulder, specifically along the Pearl Street Mall area. There are so many shops, boutiques, and restaurants you need to try. It's a wonderful location to go and browse just what Boulder has to offer. If you want to go and check out some museums, an incredibly large bookstore, or even just sit back with a nice cup of coffee, Pearl Street is the place to be. Not to mention, since the Flatirons are right within view, the location will blow you away. Everyone I've taken there has not been able to stop talking about it. But ignoring the shops and restaurants for a moment, there's also some beautiful parks in Boulder. I mentioned Boulder Creek before, which I strongly recommend visiting and spending a lazy afternoon. But if you want, you can make your way just a bit north of Pearl Street to North Boulder Park, which is a huge, wide open public space that is terrific for anyone and is a bit more secluded, let's say, than Boulder Creek. Truly, you can't run out of places to explore in Boulder. There's always something new to find. And so now, if I've piqued your interest in Boulder, I recommend checking out this video here, which talks a bit more about the city. I think you'll find it useful. This is Life on the Front Range. I'll see you there.